And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the very first ever Spartan Sports Talk Show. I'm Andrew Mile, and joining me today is Lewis Stiltz. And today we're going to be talking about, obviously, what's going on around in the sports world. So let's discuss it. Well, Lewis, you've been wanting to get on the show and talking about Antonio Brown for the longest time. So I simply put it as, what is going on with Antonio Brown?
Honestly, I don't know how to put it other than he's just being a huge drama queen.
That's one way of saying it.
Like, how do you go from being the star receiver from the Steelers, like 1,000-yard seasons, almost breaking the like catch records in the seasons, all that, and then you just want to leave for no reason? Like, I don't know. I feel like Ben Roethlisberger is a pretty good quarterback still. You had Lev Bell back there, but he was
on his way out.
Yeah, he was on his way out. But still, then you can like you're still the star receiver, and you're just gonna want to leave. I mean, I get it. I guess. Maybe part of it is some like concussion stuff. I don't know. He's just a little wrong in the head. So then they ship you to Oakland, where you don't want to go to Oakland. I mean, you're there. You're like dapping everybody up.
But he was two-faced when he got there.
Exactly.
Because as soon as he got there, he went to Derek Carr's house and hugged him, and now he doesn't want to be on the team anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, he was there for like 3 months, and then it was like he's just out. I mean, I'm assuming he wanted to go to the Patriots all along, but you just can't do it that way. Like, even if you get traded to the Raiders and you really don't want to be there, then sit out a year. Don't go and like mess with the team, and like they traded draft picks for you. Like, that just kind of screws up their future too. So like,
well, they also went out and got Tyrell Williams from the Chargers, so they have a good wide receiving core for Derek Carr. But let's look at like what has been going on with Antonio Brown ever since he joined the Raiders. He had the frostbitten feet incident where he didn't wear the proper foot attire for the cryogenic chambers, the recovery system. The helmet situation where whether his helmet was outlawed and he kept trying to sneak it into practice. He threatened the Raiders GM Mike Mayock, and then finally requested release from the Raiders and signed with the Patriots. And we have that video right here. So let's take a look at it. Like, this is a guy that signed, what was that, $50 million contract, and 30 of it was guaranteed?
Yeah, and you just give up $30 million. Also, I feel like that video has to be really fake, because there's no way that he's just like sitting there scrolling Twitter and he's like, oh, film me, like I'm about to get released. Like, you knew you were about to get released.
Right.
Like, I get that reaction. Like, yeah, he's excited, but still, like, you just gave up $30 million guaranteed for what? What's he getting now? Like 9 or something with the Patriots?
Yeah. I think that's about right.
And now he's, 32? He's old. 31, 32. He's getting up there. I mean, as a receiver, he's still pretty small, so he can take a beating out there if he goes across the middle. I mean, I get that you're with Tom Brady is, like, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But still, like, you are basically on a prove-it deal with the Patriots, and if you don't work out, then they're just going to say, all right, see you. Like, we only gave you $9 million. Like, that's it.
Right. And he's not worth that at all. They got a steal out of that. So having Antonio Brown on the Patriots kind of just tells me that he's ring chasing.
Oh, definitely.
Everyone knows that.
He's definitely ring chasing. It's like,
I don't get it.
I mean, now the Patriots are just ungodly good. But
with Josh Gordon, and then they got Ben Watson, and now they have Antonio Brown. I don't get it. The running backs are great. The defense is good. I think the Patriots are going to find themselves in the Super Bowl again this year.
Oh, probably. I mean, they find themselves there every year.
All right, well, sticking with NFL wide receivers, Odell Beckham Jr. wearing a watch during a game. As you see it right there on the PowerPoint, they're playing the Titans, and he's wearing a $30,000 watch. It's an RM11/03, and there's no punishments going to be received to Odell, which for me, it kind of bothers me, Lewis, because you're not supposed to wear hard objects while playing a physical football game.
I also feel like it could hurt yourself. I mean, you take a helmet to the wrist on that thing, dude. That's gonna leave a dent. Like,
so my thing is, why is he wearing it in the first place? Why is he wearing a watch during a football game?
I mean, I wish I had an answer for you, but I can't tell you. Like, there's literally no reason to.
It's just one of those Odell ridiculous things where you don't understand what he's doing. It's like that thing is $30,000. Why are you wearing it during a football game? That's something you wear like after the game when you're wearing a suit out to like dinner with your family or something. Well, also probably didn't help that they lost by 30 points to the Titans, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Did you see what Warren Sapp said about him?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, Warren Sapp, he was basically called him out and was like, I get that you want to wear the watch, but like you got to back it up on the field. If you're gonna flash out like that, you got to flash on the field.
If I remember.
He had 7 receptions for 70 yards or something.
I was just about to say, I think it was 7 receptions for 71 yards.
Okay, so if you're going to wear a watch, you need to at least have 12 receptions, 150 yards, and 2 tutties. But
exactly. What was the name of the receiver from the Saints that had the marker in his sock and then pulled it out and then wrote on the football? And there's also the one where they put the phone underneath the phone pad.
Yeah, Michael Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, that's just something you have to be prepared for, but you have to prove it on the field ahead of time.
You got to get in the end zone, man.
Exactly. So moving on, Christian Yelich is out for the rest of the season. How does this affect the NL MVP race? Yelich was obviously the defending MVP from last season, and he fractured his kneecap on a foul ball. Lewis, what's this going to do for the NL MVP race?
Well, I mean, it's just super unfortunate that he broke his kneecap. I mean, such a great player. But so I was looking up on ESPN the NL MVP race, and there was a little index points, and Yelich was only 0.3 points above Bellinger at this point, and then Rendon is also he's on a hot streak right now going for
Anthony Rendon has put the Nationals on his back and carrying them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's going to come down to it. It does stink that Yelich is injured, but I don't think he'll end up winning it just for the fact that he's not going to be able to play the whole rest of the season.
Right, because he got injured, and he was batting at .329 average with 44 home runs and 97 RBIs and 30 stolen bases. So he still had a 30-30 year even after he's not going to be able to finish. But here are my top 4 guys that could potentially take the MVP. Obviously, Bellinger's up there with a slash of .306, 44, 108 RBIs. You said Rendon, who's batting at .332, which leads the National League with 33 home runs, 117 RBIs, and 42 doubles that leads the National League. Acuna, .280 average, 39 home runs, 95 RBIs, and 36 stolen bases. He might be the first person to ever have a 40-40 season. A lot of baseball left, and then obviously Pete Alonso's up there, .264 average, 47 home runs, and 109 RBIs. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to walk away with it, but I think we both agree that the number one guy right now has got to be Cody Bellinger.
Definitely. I think he will end up taking it. Rendon's going to make a case for himself, but it'll probably be Bellinger in the end.
I think Rendon's going to get overlooked because of how good the Dodgers are and how the Nationals are kind of mediocre after Bryce Harper left for Philly during the offseason. So moving on, Kevin Durant bashing the NBA, the Thunder, and the Warriors. Lewis, what do you think about Kevin Durant's comments?
I don't think he should have said anything that he said, especially about the Thunder. I mean, I think that was... it
was a low blow.
It was it was definitely a low blow. Like, how do you spent, how many, I don't know how many years he was there.
He spent around 8 and 9 seasons.
Yeah, so you're there, and you had a relationship with James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and the whole front office. And then, you leave. So you go to the Warriors. I understand that. You want some rings. Everybody wants some rings.
Right.
But, I think they had your back, and he was saying that
Westbrook definitely did.
Yeah, and he basically threw away his relationship with Russell Westbrook. That's just gone now. You just left a man there to fend for himself. I mean, he was a superstar in the making, and you just left. You guys could have been so good together.
And this was a team that was 1 win away from going to the finals the year before they blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors.
Exactly.
But some of the comments he did say, if none of you saw it, this is on the Wall Street Journal. It's called Kevin Durant's New Headspace. He said, "Some days I hate the circus of the NBA. Some days I hate that the players, the fame that comes with the business after their minds about the game. Called Oklahoma City Thunder organization fake, and that he never truly fit in with the Golden State Warriors." And this is a player that played just 4 years with Golden State, won 2 championships. No, I think it was just 3 seasons with Golden State and won 2 championships. The Finals MVP for both those NBA Finals. I don't know how you can call them fake, and he never fit in with them. I mean, it looked like he was having a great time there.
I mean, especially, I feel like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond, and everybody else on that team was, pretty inclusive. They all just want to, win championships. I mean, how do you not fit in on a group that's, that good? I just don't get it. I mean, it's just
I mean, I don't know what happened to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's kind of like Antonio Brown before Antonio Brown, where he kind of just gave up on the organization that had him for all this time, had a loyal fan base. He was very quiet, didn't really talk much. But ever since then, you see like almost every day he's on Twitter bashing fans that call him out. He's DMing people back and forth, calling them out. And obviously now he's going on the Wall Street Journal and calling out the different organizations he's played for and the NBA. And now he's with the Brooklyn Nets, signed a $164 million contract. It's going to miss out this is for his first year. I just don't get it. I don't know what's going on with Kevin Durant or any of these athletes that want to speak out against their different organizations. That's just putting a bad rep on you and whoever wants to speak out.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm real interested to see how him and Kyrie actually work together. So
it's going to be interesting because Kyrie didn't mesh well in Boston.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he just wanted to be the star in Boston, and they brought in other people like Jason Tatum and Gordon Hayward to kind of fit around him. And, I mean, Scary Terry, even off the bench, was doing good. Right. And it's like, I don't know how he's going to deal with Kevin Durant being a big superstar.
But the thing is, they signed those two players. Well, they also signed DeAndre Jordan. But none of those guys are actual leaders to me.
Exactly.
Kyrie's not a leader to me. You saw what happened with the Boston locker room last year. Nothing was meshing well with them. The team chemistry was all-time low. That's why Rozier wanted to leave because he knew he was better than what his role was. And then he said something about the locker room. And now Kyrie's gone. He went to Boston. He didn't want to be back in Boston. Actually went to Brooklyn, I'm sorry, and he went to Boston after he left Boston. And then Kevin Durant, not much of a leader either, because I believe in my mind Steph was the leader in Golden State. Definitely. And then you saw that incident happen in the Clippers game between Kevin Durant and Draymond, where Draymond said, "We don't need you." And I think that was the final straw where Kevin Durant knew that he wasn't coming back.
Yep, I completely agree with that.
All right, moving on. Will the Miami Dolphins be the next team to go 0-16? Obviously, you see the other two teams up there, the Lions and the Browns. The Lions were the first team to ever go 0-16 back in 2008. And then you have the Cleveland Browns right below them that went 0-16 in 2017. Lewis, do you think the Miami Dolphins are going to be added on to that list?
Honestly, I'm going to say no.
You don't think so?
I think that they can get at least one game. It's going to be close, but I think Fitzmagic is going to come out and he's going to ball out some games. And then, I mean, even if they do at some point switch out him for Josh Rosen, I think they can kind of pull it together a little bit. And, you know, new coach, they're just still trying to figure things out. Everybody wants to leave, but, I mean, I don't know how true that is. I know Minkah Fitzpatrick is, like, for sure he's seeking trades. But, I mean, if he wants to leave, then good. Like, if you don't want to be a part of the team, then get out.
Well, it's not Minkah Fitzpatrick that wants to leave. It's the Dolphins granted him to seek a trade. So basically just saying, hey, we don't want to waste your talents here. You can go wherever you want. But let's just look at the numbers from last week. They played Baltimore and lost 59-10. They allowed 643 yards. And that was a Baltimore Ravens franchise record for most yards gained. They allowed 8 touchdowns. And after the game, obviously, like Lewis said, a bunch of players requested for trades. And then Minkah Fitzpatrick, the only star they have remaining, wants to search for a trade to a new team. The Dolphins granted them that yesterday. I think the Dolphins are going to go 0-16. I think the only team they can actually beat on the top of my head is the New York Jets because they don't have Sam Darnold for the time being. He's out with mono, and they said that he's going to be gone for at least 3 weeks. So, for my opinion, I think the Dolphins could be added onto the list. I don't think they're a good enough team. They got to trade away their best players because you know how NFL players work. If they don't agree with the team and don't agree with the organization, they just sit out. Yeah. You saw it with Le'Veon. You saw it with Antonio Brown. They're going to release him or trade him. Obviously, their leader, Kiko Alonso, was their middle linebacker. He requested for a trade after the preseason and got sent to the Saints. And then they sent Laramie Tunsil to Houston with Kenny Stills and got a bunch of draft picks. So, in my opinion, I'm putting money on that the Dolphins do go 0-16 and join the graveyard with the Lions and the Browns.
Yeah, it's definitely a very high possibility. I do think that at some point, though, they could catch a team at a real bad time, you know.
Well, that's the beauty of football.
Maybe like the end of the season, like some team's not going to play their starters and the Dolphins just went on like, I don't know, some last-second play or whatever.
You think they're going to do the Miami Miracle again?
Possibly. It could happen, but...
I mean, the Browns, in 2017, they played the Steelers in Week 17, and the Steelers didn't play any of their starters. They still lost in overtime.
That's true.
So that's I don't know. I don't think the Dolphins are going to be good enough to even beat backups for these good teams, depending on who they play in Week 17. But I just know that the Dolphins are going to get the first overall pick. They may be 1-15, 0-16. I just know that this team is going to be the team that you pick against consistently every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Fantasy tip here: start every quarterback against Miami.
Exactly. Yeah. And start the defense against Miami's offense.
Yeah, definitely.
Next, MLB postseason: who's in and who is out? It's a very tight race in the AL wildcard between the Oakland A's, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Cleveland Indians, all within a game of each other. Lewis, in those three teams, who do you think the two teams are going to make it to the postseason?
I'm going to take the Athletics and the Rays on this one.
The Rays and the Athletics.
Yes, both of them. I think right now they're in the 1 and 2 spots, but I just think, I don't know. I've always been a fan of the A's since Moneyball came out, just because.
Oh man, the Brad Pitt movie.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right.
It's a very good movie. It's a very good baseball movie. Definitely up there. But I mean, to be honest, I don't really know who's a lot of the players on the Athletics and the Rays. Don't really follow them that much.
Well, because they're both teams that don't have stars, but they're a good team.
Yeah, I mean the A's are what, 87 and 60 around
88 and 60. They picked up a win last night. The Rays are 88 and 61, and Indians are 86 and 61. They're only one game behind Tampa Bay. For me, I got to take Oakland and the Indians. I'm only taking Cleveland because one of the starting pitchers, Zach Plesac, I went to high school with.
Okay.
He graduated my freshman year and went to Ball State, won freshman of the year there, and then got drafted. And he made his way up. I went and saw him play against the White Sox in his second career start. I was actually in Boston the day before he made his debut against the Red Sox. So I got to take Cleveland on this just for the fact that there's a region rat and they're starting rotation. He's had a great year. But other than that, I think it's going to be Oakland and Cleveland. And obviously the NL race is close too. The Nationals, the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Phillies, and then the Mets all within 3 games of each other. And for me, I got to go with the Nationals and the Cubs. I can't pick against them. You know who I am.
Yeah,
big Cubs fan. I can't pick against them. I just can't. I'd be a bad Cubs fan. I feel guilty after this podcast.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to go with the Nationals and the Cubs. I'm going to agree with you on that one, solely because my dad is a Cubs fan. He's a massive Cubs fan. He yells all the time. It's crazy.
I haven't been watching the Cubs lately because I saw their bad plays, especially against Pittsburgh yesterday. It didn't look good. I was like, okay, good thing I'm not watching. Good thing the offense scored 17 runs.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just the Cubs are either up here scoring a bunch of runs or they're down here and they can't score even one. So I don't know. The inconsistency is telling me the Cubs can't win a World Series, but at least make the playoffs for the 4th straight year because, there's a lot of Cubs fans before that didn't get to see that at all, and I would be very proud to see the Cubs at least make the playoffs for the 4th straight year. All right. Now, Lewis is going to take this one, and I got to listen to what he's got to say about this. The Fair Pay to Play Act, introduced by the state of California, but basically what it does is allow college athletes to get paid. Lewis, I want to hear this take.
Okay, so Tim Tebow, seen on the picture right there, he came out with a real hot take, and he was saying that he disagreed with this. He doesn't think college players should be paid. I completely disagree with Tim Tebow. That's just not okay. So I might be a little biased, but I don't think I am. So I have one of my best friends since 2nd grade, plays football at Miami Ohio University. He gets paid by them because they do that with their football players. But it's honestly not that much. It's very little money. But he basically only uses it for going to get food or drinks or just groceries. That's literally all he uses it for. But Tim Tebow, in his video, he said that he at one point was the 3rd most sold jersey in the United States behind Kobe and I think LeBron. And Florida made they had to have made millions of dollars.
Oh, they did.
Millions.
I'm pretty sure Tebow won 2 national championships, right?
Yeah.
When he was there?
Yeah, and so think of it. So Tim Tebow doesn't think that college players should be paid. So I was talking with a friend earlier today. He agrees with me on this subject. He said that he brought up a fact that a football team, so a Power 5 conference, so Florida, for example, will, in the time that they play one football game, makes enough money from that game to provide 5 full-ride scholarships for football players. And they play how many games in a season?
Usually it's around 12 a season.
Yeah. So,
and if you make the conference, it's 13.
Yeah, so you take that. That's like, I'm trying to do math here. I'm an accounting major. So what, 65? That's like 65 scholarships in a year, which is probably more than they get per year to hand out. So I definitely think that college players should be able to be paid. It's not even that they're getting paid like lots of money or even from the school. I think they should be able to use their likeness and image and go out and like if they want to sign autographs, they can. But I don't think they even have the time to do that. So it's not even the fact that like they're actually getting paid, because like there's a documentary on Netflix. It has some old Houston running back in it. He went to Tennessee. I don't know if you know the name. I can't remember.
I can't think of the name at the moment either.
Yeah, but he was explaining his schedule at Tennessee when he was there, and he said he would wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to his lift, go to class starting at like 8 or 9, be in class from that time until around 1, go from there. He would eat with the team. They would provide lunch, or he would just eat at the school, and then he would go to film, and then he'd go to a lift, and then he'd start practice at like 3:30, 4. They practice from that time to 7. And then after that, they have study tables they get like a little bit of a break to like go eat or whatever. And they have study tables from like 8 to 10:30. And then they go back to their room. And he was explaining in it that, so these guys are massive. All these college football players are huge. They probably eat so much, like way more than I could eat in a day. And they eat maybe like twice a day. They get that provided by the school. So when you get back from this long day from basically 7 to 10:30, you're hungry, right? But they don't have any money to go out and spend food on. And like not all players like Tebow, I'm sure Tebow came from a good like background where
he did.
Yeah, where his parents could like give him some money to go out and eat and stuff. But if you take a player from like an inner city in, let's say like New Orleans that maybe doesn't have a lot of money, but he's super talented at football.
Or even like the South Side of Chicago.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be like super talented, but just like they're going to go to school on this full ride scholarship, but their parents may not be able to provide money for them.
Right.
So they should be able to use their likeness and image. Like another example, the same friend that I was talking to this morning, he goes to IUPUI, and he has a basketball player in one of his classes. This kid is on a full ride scholarship for basketball, so good for him. But he doesn't even have the funds to buy his own personal laptop. He has to go to the school library and using a computer there for all his assignments, which is just dumb. Like, this is why I think that it is fair for people or for these college athletes to get paid if they want to use their likeness and image to go do that.
I think when we hear that college athletes get paid, I think we think like the terms like the NFL or NBA, where it's like, oh, they get money to play for them. It's money for them to actually live and to sustain a good life at college so they can stay into their academics, not be able to go hungry when they go to bed at night and they have to get up and grind in school, and then obviously like you said in workouts, and then going to practice every day. And practice is never guaranteed it's going to be a fun time. It could be like blazing hot. You never know. Like yesterday, we had a hot practice yesterday. I was exhausted.
Oh yeah.
And I couldn't imagine if I didn't get my 3 meals. I'd be devastated. I wouldn't be able to go to bed fully satisfied with my day because I'm starving.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier before we started this, you were talking about how Zion got hurt.
Right.
Yeah, like you go to college, and most of these guys are not going to go to school
They're only going for 1 year.
Yeah, and they're not going like for school. They're going because they're trying to make it in the sport that they're in into like a professional setting. And if they get hurt in college, then and it's like a career-ending injury, then they're done.
Right, like there's still I think there is compensation money if he would have dropped down and his projection ranked, which obviously he was projected to be number 1. But I didn't agree with college athletes getting paid till Zion got hurt. When the Nike shoe busted against North Carolina. What if it was a more serious injury and he was out? He couldn't play basketball ever again.
Yeah.
Think of all the money he was lost out on because of the big signing bonus he got when he drafted by the Pelicans. He had to sign with Nike for endorsements. He's going to get way more endorsements as it is with like Gatorade or other NBA styled sponsors. So for me, I think that if Zion was getting paid in college, it would have been easier for him to go to the NBA, but they're wasting their time in college for these basketball players. Yeah. For football, they have to play 3 years at least.
That's a lot of time to get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So what if Trevor Lawrence got hurt tomorrow?
Yeah, what if his shoulder just falls off?
What if he gets sacked?
That man is literally supposed to be the next like coming of Jesus at quarterback in college.
He got the hair for it.
He does have the hair for it. That is very true. But this man is supposed to be like, some coach came out the other day that said, like, I think he's the greatest college football quarterback of all time. I can't remember who the coach was, but they said that, and it's like, okay, so what if he, like, tears his knee to shreds in this next upcoming game? Exactly. And he's just done for his career.
And he never plays an NFL down.
Yeah. He's not, like, I don't know what.
He's going to get the compensation money and
That's
then
it, though.
move on with his life.
Missing out on millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Like, at least let him profit. Like, it's not even going to be, like, thousands of dollars for them using their likeness and image. It could maybe just be them sitting down, like, at a mall and getting, like, $5 per autograph.
Right.
And even if you're not, like, you're not going to do that if you're not, like, a big-time star. Like, Trevor Lawrence could do that, but, like, some Joe Schmo at, I don't know, Missouri State University or something, some small school is not going to be able to do that.
Exactly. It's the elite that should get paid.
Yeah.
Not everyone should get paid, obviously. But it's the guys that are profiting. Like CBS profits on how much they're in the March Madness tournament every year from these college athletes, and they're not seeing a dime.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the NCAA, I'm pretty sure their last year, they made over $1 billion.
It wouldn't shock me.
I mean, I get that they're putting some of that back into the schools, but there's no way that you can tell me that these guys, these, like, however many people it is that run the NCAA, are not taking, like, millions of dollars just from that.
Right.
Like, in that same documentary that I was talking about earlier, one of the guys that helped create the, like, wording for student athlete said that they created it solely for the fact that they didn't have to pay athletes because they knew that it's like a job. Like, he literally was like, yeah, we just threw student in front of it because we knew that we would have to compensate them as an athlete. It's like, it's a matter of just treating them like a human being at this point. I mean, like, you take so my friend at Miami, Ohio, his freshman year, his roommate is a 6'6" left tackle. These twin-size beds that all colleges have, like we even have them here at Manchester, the farthest they reach is 6'3". So this kid had 3 inches of his feet hanging off of the bed, like, and he's a massive human being.
Right.
Like, he's probably going to be drafted in the first or second round because he's, like, pretty good. And he's a massive human being, and you're telling me he had to sleep for a whole year in this tiny bed. Like, that's why. So this video with Tim Tebow, a lot of people in the comments were saying, oh, just live on campus. Like, they pay for your room and board. It's like, no, they're not. You're not going to stick 2, like, massive offensive linemen in the same room, in a small, like, super small room with these tiny beds. Like, they're going to want to be in, like, a pretty big bed that they can actually fit into. So it's just like, treat them like a human being, let them use their likeness and image. Like, any other college student can go out and profit off of, like, streaming for Fortnite, and they don't get in trouble.
Exactly.
So it's like, why would you, like, just because they play a sport doesn't mean that they can't get paid.
All right, so there's a take on that. So we're going to move on to very nice, great success, or yeah, that's going to be a no from me, dog. Basically, it's yes or no if you agree what's going on. So the first thing we're going to talk about is DeMarcus Lawrence denies a Giants fan an autograph. So let's click here to see this sad Giants fan.
DeMarcus! Get the right turn, sir.
Lewis. Very nice, great success, or that's going to be a no for me, dog.
I think I'm going to have to go with a no. That's a no for me.
I agree with this. I agree with Lewis on this one.
I mean, I think as an NFL superstar, a pretty good defensive lineman for the Cowboys, kids are going to look up to you. And, like, yeah, he might have the wrong jersey on, but now, like, your biggest fan who's maybe that kid followed him through college.
Right.
And he was, like, his biggest fan in college. And then he's like, oh, he got drafted by the Cowboys. Like, sorry, I'm a Giants fan. Like, that's the kid's parents' fault for making him a Giants fan. But, like, I mean, if I was, like, a little kid, so I'm a massive Colts fan. If I was a little kid, and I think that, let me think.
Let's say J.J. Watt for the time being.
Okay, J.J. Watt. Yeah, J.J. Watt. So if I was a massive J.J. Watt fan, went to Wisconsin, I was a massive Wisconsin fan, and J.J. Watt got drafted by the Texans, rivals of the Colts, right?
Right.
So, and I wanted his autograph, and he denied me. I would be pretty upset about that.
I'd be pretty devastated. Like, that kid did not look happy.
He did not look happy. He was pretty sad.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, no.
Because I think if you're an NFL player, you have an obligation to treat fans fairly, even if they're not that support your team. Like, I don't know about you, Lewis, but if I ran into a professional football player that's a star like DeMarcus Lawrence, it would take a lot of courage for me to go up and talk to him. That kid's like, what, 11, 12?
Probably, yeah.
He was about middle school. That's tough. And then you think about this, you see all these kids from maybe his school that see it, and then they give him crap for it because he was denied an autograph from DeMarcus Lawrence. That's not going to go over well. So for me, that's going to be a no. I don't agree with it. I just felt bad for the kid.
Yeah.
He may be wearing a Saquon jersey and have Giants logo painted, but he wanted an autograph from DeMarcus Lawrence. And like I said, it takes a lot of courage to talk to a star player like that. Next, Jerry Colangelo speaks about the Team USA's upset in the 2019 FIBA tournament. I have the quote pulled up here. Let me pull it up real fast. He said, "I can only say you can't help but notice and remember who you thought you were going to war with and who didn't show up." He was talking about how the Team USA roster started with around 33 players, and they barely managed to get 12 to go and play in this tournament. Lewis, very nice, great success, or that's going to be a no for me, dog?
I think it's a great success. I agree with his comments.
You agree?
I'm agreeing with his comments.
I'm going to have to go with a no.
Okay.
It's going to be a no for me, dog. I'm going to see why you think.
Okay, so I think it is the greatest honor in the world to represent your country on any type of like international stage. And yeah, I get these players are like, you can be selfish and not want to, like, because you could get hurt. Like, it could, like Paul George, for example, he broke his leg and missed the whole season because of he was playing for Team USA. But like these guys, a lot of these guys would, like me personally, would kill for the opportunity to represent my country. Like, how would you not want to?
Right.
So I mean, that's why I agree with it, but I mean, I could see the other side too.
Yeah, I'm saying no because they were risking injury. You have Anthony Davis as one of the first people to back out. This was a guy that was battling injury with the Pelicans all year and just signed a big contract to go play for the Lakers and be with LeBron James. And then James Harden, obviously, he had a great year last year. I think he's just mentally and physically exhausted after basically putting the Houston Rockets on his back and having an MVP caliber year and fell just short. Other than that, I agree with what you're saying, that it's a great honor to represent your country, but it's not your first job. Your job is to play in the NBA for these professional basketball teams and get paid and win championships. That's the end of the day. This is what your role is. You're not getting paid to play for FIBA. This isn't your job. This is just for basically just recreational, and they get better and play different athletes. Like Kemba played, and he's going to play with Boston next year. They had Jason Tatum, another Boston guy. So some of the guys use this as team chemistry before, but for me, I think it comes down to they didn't want to risk injury, and they didn't want to waste their time and wear down their bodies even more before they played in the NBA.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. NBA bans a ninja-styled headband. Lewis, no? A very nice, great success.
That's a no.
That's a definite no. This is the dumbest thing.
You got to let him like show out a little bit. What is that going to hurt?
The reasoning was they were afraid they were going to pull off. Like they were afraid someone was going to pull it and pull someone down with them. Richard Jefferson had the same reaction.
Don't get that. That makes no sense to me because isn't it just tied in the back?
Yeah, I have one. You guys see me wear it in practice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just tied in the back. Like you see it with Jimmy Butler right here. It's just tied around the head. It just helps keep the sweat out of your eyes. That's why I wear it, because that's where my sweat starts. I don't want it dripping down to my eyes. So I put it there to, obviously my eyes don't burn anymore. But some of these guys were wearing them because one, they're pretty cool looking. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
they're cool.
Definitely.
And it's a lot easier than wearing those other headbands that like LeBron wore for the longest time. So like here, I'll give you a list of players that are wearing it. There was Jimmy Butler, who you see. Drew Holiday was another one. LeBron James even just started wearing them recently. And then De'Aaron Fox from the Kings wear them. So for me, that's a no. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. I think they need to bring them back and let the NBA players express themselves.
Exactly.
All right. University of Tennessee t-shirts that fight back against bullying. I think this is a pretty simple one. Very nice. Great success.
Very nice.
So the story behind this is it was Represent Your College Day in Florida, and this was a fourth grader who didn't have a Tennessee shirt. So he made one himself, as you see, and he was bullied at school. And the story got out. The teacher tweeted something about it, and the University of Tennessee put these in their stores to stomp out bullying. And this happened yesterday. I don't know if you saw this. The fourth grader received a full ride scholarship to Tennessee when he goes to college in the year 2032.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this is awesome.
This is really cool.
Mean, I don't get why kids would bully at this. Like, the kid is he's making an effort. Like, he's a Tennessee fan. Like, just let him be. Like, why do you need to like make fun of people for? I mean, I used to do that. Like, I used to go out in my backyard and take a white T-shirt and write like a college and like put my name on the back of it and just like play games by myself outside. Like, if I did that nowadays, like, kids would literally rip me to shreds, which is I think it's so dumb.
The kids are just beyond mean.
Yeah.
Especially because they don't understand backgrounds. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing. Maybe this kid doesn't have the greatest home life. Maybe his parents don't make a lot of money and they couldn't afford to get him a Tennessee shirt. So he's like, you know what? I'll just make it myself. Maybe that's what he does at home, like what you said. Mm-hmm. Just put on the college that you want to play for and have fun in the backyard. And he want to represent the University of Tennessee in the way he could. And to pick on him and make him feel like he's not worth anything is the worst thing in the world. I don't know why anyone wants to do that. It's just sad. And you know what? I'm glad for the University of Tennessee for doing this. And then, all right, Miles' moment of the week. My moment of the week, earlier on in the week, it was the 18th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center in New York. My moment goes to Mike Piazza's home run on September 21st, 2001. The story behind this game was a pitcher's duel for majority. It was 1-1 going into the 8th inning. The Braves scratched their run across in the top of the 8th, and then Piazza came up with a runner on first and smashed a home run to center field against the Braves.
Wants it away. And it's hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2.
Absolute moonshot.
You give me goosebumps every time. I'm not even a Mets fan. This was old.
You gotta love moments like this.
Yes, this is when it shows that sports unite people after something disastrous happened, like 9/11, and you see how packed it is at Shea. Honestly, if I was the pitcher, that's probably the greatest home run I've ever given up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because at that time, Mike Piazza was probably the second most popular athlete in New York, only behind the great Derek Jeter.
Great moment. Just a great moment.
It is a great moment because it's just different when he hit that ball and you hear the fans erupt. The Mets went on to win that game 3-2 after that home run. They shut it down for the rest of the game. Great moment. Sports unite people. Mike Piazza, he said that's probably the greatest home run he's ever hit. And I have to agree. That thing was the crack of the bat. How hard he hit that ball, though.
I love that sound.
Oh, I think everyone does.
It's the greatest sound ever. Like, how could you not love the wood on a baseball?
Perfectly timed on that barrel. I think if you know how people go to bed listening to like rain noises and stuff, baseball players can go to bed listening to the wood hitting the ball and be fine for the rest of the night. If I have a smile on their face when they wake up in the morning. So that's going to be it for the show. Lewis, what's any final thoughts?
My only final thought is the shirt I'm wearing, D3 Lives Matter. Just shout out to all the D3 Lives.
Do you also want to show what the hat says?
Oh, I would love to. I'm just going to take these.
This is like his favorite hat. I've seen him wear it.
I wear this all the time.
Exactly.
Fire Goodell, baby. He's a terrible commissioner.
He is a pretty bad
Fire him already, NFL. Like, how hard is it? Jeez.
I mean, Jerry Jones pushed for it. I think you and Jerry Jones will get along pretty well.
I mean, probably. Jeez. I just don't like Goodell. Clearly, he's... I mean, I don't like the Patriots either. He kind of screwed over the Patriots a little bit, but still.
That's true. The Deflategate, 4 games, I didn't get that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be it for the very first episode of the Spartan Sports Talk Show. For Lewis Stilts, I'm Andrew Mild. You have a good rest of your day.
Hey, you too.